Y'all know I love hearing my feeding the ducks. Y'all know I love hearing my feeding the ducks. What's up, Mahogany Jones in the house?
Good evening, everyone.
Evening, good evening, good evening. Listen, we are going to jump right in today. I know we've got Mahogany on the line, and I believe we're going to have a few more people jump on the line today. We sent the shout out. We got the word out.
Mm-hmm.
And today is going to be a special session. So you all know, for those of you who do not know, this is the Abundant Way Ministries Tuesday evening Bible study empowerment session series. And this year we've been dealing with empowerment, period. And we talked about housing empowerment, and the month of September was supposed to be entrepreneurship. And we are going to get into entrepreneurship, but God has been leading me to deal with real estate investing. I don't know why, but I know He has. So hopefully this reaches somebody out there. I hope it reaches a lot of people, because I know that a lot of times we struggle in life financially, really because of lack of knowledge, because of what we don't know, right? Truth be told, we've been talking about building generational wealth, and the fact of the matter is you cannot build wealth without investing, right? And when I say investing, I'm talking about making wise investments. And there's many things that you can invest in. I'm not a professional at a lot of things when we talk about investing, but I do know real estate investing. So I'm going to talk about what I know. You know what I'm saying? Talk about what we do every day. And hopefully this will be a blessing to those of you who are out there today. We see 5 people that jumped on the call already. If you could just chime in
and say good evening.
Let us
I'm
know
here.
who you are.
Yep.
And we're gonna jump right in. All right. Okay. So here's how we're gonna do this. I know you and I have not really talked about this.
Nope.
Right?
Talk about what?
What we're going to talk about tonight?
No,
we have not.
Nope.
We have not talked about it.
Nope.
But what's going to be interesting is to see how you actually chime in, because you've been around it like every day, right?
Every day.
And when I say around it, I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about what we do on a daily basis with our clients, and even with your previous job, right? Being a property manager at a major commercial property management company, that's all about investing. That whole thing, your whole job was about real estate investing.
Yeah.
It may not have felt like it because it was a 9-to-5 for you. It was a salary position. You knew what time you're going to wake up and go to work, and you knew when your paycheck was going to come. But for somebody in that whole circle, that was not their norm. Yeah. Somebody invested in the properties that y'all were managing, and they weren't getting a 9-to-5 paycheck, but they put out the risk. I mean, they could have built it up to a big level where, you know, they can pretty much determine what they're going to make in a year, right? And that's one of the goals. Hey, Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Greetings, beautiful people. Yeah, I like that. So we're talking about investing, and so yeah, we I'm winging it with you today.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be good. And the reason I'm doing that, ladies and gentlemen, there's a method to my madness, right?
Always.
Always. The reason I'm doing that is because when we talk about investing, like I said, there's many things that you can invest in. You can invest in the stock market. I just happen to know real estate investing well. I'm invested in the stock market, but I'm not going to get on Facebook and start talking about it. I'm not there, right? All right.
No.
But the reason why I say it's going to be interesting is because it's very important when you're investing to educate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say educate yourself or get educated in the thing that you're getting ready to put your money into, doesn't mean that you got to go to school for it or spend 4 years learning it, but you need to get yourself around it, right? And get around the people who are talking about it, get around the people who are doing it. And because you've been around me and been around the JLLs and the RCGs and who else have you worked for?
Oh God,
Inland Trust,
yeah,
Inland America, and those folks. You've heard stuff and may not have known that you were learning in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to be talking about some stuff that you're going to be like, you know what, that's so true, and never really thought about it. And I hope this is going to be also true for you. Okay, so this is the Abundant Way Ministries, and so we are still, at the end of the day, a ministry. And so we do always want to make sure we understand the biblical foundation of whatever it is we're talking about, right? So, hey, Daddy. So many of you may not even think that what we're talking about today has anything to do with faith or the Bible or God, and it has everything to do with it. I didn't think so either until I started putting two and two together. So I want to make sure that we understand that this is still a ministry, although we're talking about what did you just do?
Something.
Although we're talking about real estate investing, and I'm saying 101 because we're going to keep it basic. We're not getting into a bunch of sophisticated stuff. We're just talking about a possible area of investing that you might want to consider, because here's the thing, and this is what we haven't really communicated well, in my opinion. I think investing is absolutely necessary. I almost want to say it's not an option. And no one really ever told us that about investing. It's always been kind of optional in our world. You know, saving and investing is, you know, we were told, yeah, you better get out of here and get a job, right? Right. But so you can make your own money and feed yourself, right? But investing, the emphasis, I don't think, has been placed on investing enough, especially coming up through school. Reason why I say I think it's absolutely necessary is because I just celebrated my 54th birthday Sunday. And the older you get, the more you realize that you ain't going to be working like this
exactly
for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Whether you want to or not, the fact of life is that you will not be working like you working for the rest of your life.
You shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be. And even if you wanted to, you probably couldn't. I want to keep working. Don't get me wrong. I want to keep busy. I want to keep active. I want to keep doing stuff. I don't ever want to just stop and sit. But at the same time, I don't want to feel like I have to go and punch somebody's clock or else I can't eat. Right? And the fact is that the older we get, the more we start feeling like that. On top of the fact that whatever happens, whether you decide to stop working or you have to stop working, the expenses
keep going.
Still keep coming. I don't care what happens. You can quit your job. You can get fired. You can get sick. Life don't care. They're going to keep sending you the light bill, the gas bill, the water bill. You still need groceries. You still need clothes. If you have a car, you still need to put gas in it. You still need to keep tires, brakes, oil changes. I don't care if your house is paid off. You still got to pay the taxes. You still have to pay insurance. I don't care if your car is paid off. You still got to have them oil changes. Still got to put gas in it. For some reason, life keeps happening whether you get out the bed or not. Whether you go to work and punch that clock or not, you're still going to have those expenses, right? So what do you do? How do you live when you're not working? How do you continue to pay those bills without a job? That's what we're talking about today, ladies and gentlemen. You got to have, well, it's not even a backup plan.
You got to have a plan.
You have to have a plan, right? And that's the thing. So I think, I'm glad you said that, because I think the thought process is, yeah, I'm going to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
No, this has to be your core plan. Like from the day you start working, you ought to be thinking about, now, how am I going to leverage the time and the time that I'm spending to make the money that I'm making? That's the core idea of investing. And we should be thinking about it from the day we get our first job, right? Unfortunately, many of us were not thinking like that, me included. I wasn't thinking about that. You know, this is a lot, relatively speaking, this emphasis that I'm placing on this now is relatively new. I mean, I started, doing some real estate investing several years ago, but the emphasis that I have on it now, or investing period, because I've got the 401ks and I've got some stuff in the stock market, but the emphasis I'm playing on real estate now has a newfound urgency. Newfound urgency, because I see some things, I see some things in life, and I see the potential. I see some things in life that says you need to plan and prepare yourself for the winter season, or for the nighttime. So we'll talk about how everything we're talking about is biblically, has a biblical foundation. The Bible says, nighttime cometh where no man can work, right? And we've got to prepare ourselves for the days that we can't work. And who knows, whatever the reason, we don't know what the reason is. We don't care what the reason is. The idea is that we've got to plan for it. We've got to plan for the winter season. What kind of emoji is that, Robin? I'm trying to figure that one out. She said, uh-oh. Is that a uh-oh? Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about it. I'm going to read a couple scriptures and we're going to jump right in, right? Okay, Psalms 24 verse 1 says, I'm going to let you be my reader today.
The earth is the Lord's, all ownership begins with him.
And I think that really comes from the way we used to say it.
And the fullness thereof.
And the fullness thereof. See, I'm still King James. I'm still King James.
Yeah.
That's a emoji.
Right.
What's up, Wesley? All right. Next one. Genesis chapter 1, verse 28.
God gave man dominion to steward land and resources.
Oh my goodness. I don't know where they got this from because that's not how we read the Bible.
Read it.
God gave man dominion and authority.
Mm-hmm.
Over everything in the earth. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what they say in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 22.
I think they got this one. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's let that set the stage. Okay. Real estate investing. The reason why I'm talking about real estate investing today, and again, my disclaimer is I'm not saying that I'm not speaking about this as if it's the only form of investing. But what I am saying is that this is something that I can speak to because I know something about it. And again, disclaimer, I'm not telling you all to do anything. I'm not your financial advisor. The Abundant Way absolves itself of all liabilities.
Yeah.
Hopefully you pick up some knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
That's our main goal, is that you pick up some knowledge, you get some ideas and some inspiration, but we're not telling you what kind of investments to make, but we are going to open up your eyes to some things that you should possibly consider. All right, so we're using those scriptures to set the foundation. All right. So, as we mentioned, there's many forms of investing. The most common ones are stock market, 401ks, IRAs, mutual funds, and all the various ways you can invest in that. And then the other one that I am familiar with is real estate. You can invest in businesses, you can invest in different partnerships and stuff like that. We're talking about real estate. And so the question then becomes, why real estate? Why real estate? So now here's where I'm going to pause and see all the time you spent with me, we've been together. Why would you say real estate is a good investment vehicle to consider?
For one, everybody needs some place to live.
That's good. I like that.
So
everybody needs a place.
Everybody needs a place to stay. Everybody needs a place to live. So, and real estate investing also is a good way to have that stream of income that'll constantly come in, especially if you're renting. If you're renting houses, you've got that income coming in.
Right.
It's also, let me see the other way to put it.
But let's say a word.
No, I'm trying to think of the word and I can't think of the word. So go ahead. It's gonna come to me.
All right.
I know what I want to say. It's gonna come to me.
So you said two good things. You said people will always need a place to stay. That's absolutely true. And that statement is actually what when I graduated from high school and I was trying to think about which direction I was going into, headed to college, and my mind was always thinking even beyond. The thing that came to my mind is I wanted to do something that was, I wanted to use the word recession proof, but there's very few things that are recession proof. But I wanted to equip myself, that's the word I'm looking for, with something that would be in great demand. And so I left out of high school thinking I was going to be in real estate and technology. I felt like with that combination of things, you would be able to drop me out of a plane anywhere in the world and I should be able to land on my feet. And that has proven to be true so far in my lifestyle. So I've learned real estate and I learned technology. So I went to school for business administration, concentrated in information technology, took real estate classes in school, and got out and started, buying the courses and stuff like that. And I realized that as long as I have those two things under my belt, if I can't make money on one of them, something wrong with me, right? But you have to continue to educate yourself. You can't. I can't do the same. I can't do the same technology stuff that I was doing 30 years ago because it's obsolete, right? I'm learning new stuff today as we speak on the job. We're learning something totally new, and you have to. The same is true with investing. You can't just rest on the ideas of the past. The principles stay the same, right? But you gotta keep up with the changes of the times, right? Tax laws change, programs change, right? Different investment vehicles, come and some go, and you've got to stay on top of it. The same is true in real estate, right? And so that was the good thing. There's stability in that. When you say people will always need a place to stay, that to me presents the idea of stability, because you're investing in something that in our foreseen future probably won't change. People will always need shelter, right? And so now you have to figure out what side of the fence do you want to be on, right? Do you want to be on the needy side, or do you want to be on let me not say the needy side, I'm going to say consumer. Do you want to be just a consumer, or do you want to be a provider? That's what makes a difference. Now, we know we need a place to stay, so we starting off as a consumer, but imagine if you were also a provider of shelter. Now, all of a sudden, your financial picture starts to look a little different. If you're the one providing places to stay for people, and people gonna always need a place to stay, that gives you a sense of what? Stability. Right? Yeah. Here's another thing. Oh, no, the other thing that you mentioned was what we call in the real estate investing world is cash flow, right? So you mentioned renting properties out to people, rental properties. Right? That generates monthly cash flow, right? Monthly cash flow, something that typically your stock investments don't do, right? You invest in the stock market, whether you're doing it through some kind of a institutional investing like a 401k or IRA or mutual fund or something like that, or if you're even doing individual stocks, right? Even if you're a day trader, right? Those things don't usually generate a steady cash flow, meaning that now you've got money coming in that you can use to pay your bills, right? Yeah. All right. So that's one difference. That's one of the differences that I like about real estate, is that it kicks off a cash flow if you do it right, right? The other thing, this may be the thing that you were thinking about, wealth building. Yeah, that's it. Right? Y'all have heard us talking, we've been talking about generational wealth for all year. In every segment that term comes up. Generational wealth is wealth that can be that can transfer from generation to generation. Again, if you do it right. All of this stuff has to be planned. It doesn't happen by happenstance. But with real estate, you have the potential to keep wealth in a family and pass it from generation to generation, right? The other thing, when we say why real estate, is leverage, right? This is the big one. And I want y'all to pay attention to this one for real, for real. because real estate is one of the few investments that you can maximize your investment with minimal money, minimal of your own money, right? Because the banks and the financial institutions are so sold on real estate that they're willing to lend you most of the money because they feel like they also know that everybody needs a place to stay. So they're willing to put their money up on your investment, right? And what I mean by leverage. So you can buy, I'm going to use round numbers, small numbers, just to keep it simple. You can buy $100,000 house investment property for $20,000. You can't do that in the stock market. You can't buy something that's worth $100,000 in the stock market for $20,000. It don't exist like that. But with real estate, it does. What do I mean? Leverage. I'm saying that if you see a house that is going to cost you $100,000, you can go to the bank, and the bank will say, "Well, we're gonna put up the money, but we're gonna need you to put 20% down, right? 20% of $100,000 is $20,000. Now you own this asset, right? That you can use to generate revenue, cash flow. It's worth $100,000 when you bought it, and you only got $20,000 into it, right? And then the good thing about it is most times that asset, and I'm going to call it an asset because if it's a rental property, it should be kicking off a cash flow. Remember, we talked about Robert Kiyosaki and his oversimplified definition of assets versus liabilities. He said an asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. Right. That's the oversimplified definition of an asset. And a liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket, right? And so if you look at assets versus liabilities in that sense, the rental property that you own then is an asset. Now it's kicking off cash flow every month. And in most cases, it's appreciating in value over time, right? So you may have bought it for $100,000 today, and you put $20,000 down. 5 years from now, that same property could be worth $150,000. In Atlanta, the prices between 2000 and when did we start working with our California clients? 2017, 18. Yeah. I watched them in 5 years. In 5 years, those houses appreciated double. Every last one of them. We were buying them for $100,000, $97,000, $105,000, and every last one of them, when they started selling them, they were selling them for $200,000+ without blinking, right? 5 years. So imagine one of my clients bought 10 houses in those 5 years. Imagine him selling all 10. Now this one, he don't sell none of his stuff. He will exchange it. But imagine you buying 10 houses in 5 years, and then at the end of those 5 years, you sell them and you're making $100,000 off of each one of them. You bought it for $100, it increased in value over $100,000, and so now you just made $1 million in 5 years. And generally, you're not going to have that in the stock market. And at the same time, he was receiving cash flow off of those 10 houses. Now, this particular client, he didn't leverage. He used his own money, right? And so if the rent was $2,000 a month, then you got $2,000 a month times 10, which is what, $20,000 a month coming in, right? Plus the fact that the house itself is doubling in value. So when he does sell stuff, he's just selling it to buy something else, buy another investment property that's going to perform better than the one he's letting go. Because he's also watch this, the time a value of money.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that the house is depreciating, and he's only going to let it depreciate it so much before he get out of it and move that money to another house that has more time on it. You feel what I'm saying? And so when you do that, you take that money and you reinvest it in another house. And as long as you do it within a certain time period, you don't have to pay taxes on that profit. It's called a 1031 exchange. You cannot do that in the stock market. There's no possible way that you can exchange one stock for another.
Right.
You can't say, ooh, I got Amazon, but I really like Tesla. Let me just change it. It don't work like that.
Mm-mm.
The only way you can use your Amazon money to buy Tesla is you got to sell Amazon. The moment you sell Amazon, Uncle Sam is standing right there wanting his tax money, right? But in the real estate world, if you do a 1031 exchange, the profit that you make off that house gets reinvested in another property of equal or greater value, and you don't get taxed on that money. That's why real estate. Hello. Ladies and gentlemen. Am I going too fast?
Well, no, let's pause.
Mm-hmm.
Robin had a question. You may come to this, but she put this question up there.
She said what? It appears that the houses and commercial property are very expensive. How do you overcome sticker shock and be able to afford property in this day and time? Great question, Robin. Again, it goes back to leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you had to buy that outright, like some of our investor clients have that type of cash laying around to be able to do that. And the only reason they had it is because they've been doing real estate for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
But most of us don't have it like that, right? But it doesn't stop it because it's all about leverage, right? So you may see $1 million, property,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't have to come up with $1 million today. You may need to only come up with 20 or 30% of that, right? Which is $200,000 or $300,000. And now that may sound like sticker shock to some people, but guess what? If you had been buying houses all the time and you saw this $1 million building that you wanted, and let's say you had 5 properties that you've owned for the last 10 years and it appreciated like it did, you can sell a few of those off and have your $300,000, move it to the commercial property and pay no taxes on the $300,000. Now you own the commercial property. And the commercial property should be kicking off way more cash flow than those 3 houses. And so that's how you got to learn how to play the game, right? And so that's how you get into, yes, everything is very expensive these days. But here's the thing. It's only expensive when you don't have the money,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this goes back to the whole conversation about planning. If you know that this is what you want to do, if you know that investing is something that I have to do, you're going to start preparing yourself for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we haven't really done, right? We haven't been saving like we plan to invest. Because, if you have been saving and making those other investments, when that $1 million property come up or when something comes up that's a good deal and it's got a big sticker tag on it, you've got stuff that you've been saving over time and investing in over time that you can leverage to get the property that you want, right? You can't really do that with most other investments.
I hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about right now, but if we think about it, we, especially like our generation and prior, we didn't know anything about this.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see us doing this,
right?
Doing this investing, investing in anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're now late to the game, right? But it's never too late to start,
right.
Because now you've got people in your circle that you see are doing it, or you're connected to somebody that's been doing it, or just started doing it, whatever. So now you're getting that knowledge, you're getting that exposure to it. But unfortunately, we were never taught this.
Right.
We didn't grow up learning about investing in real estate, period. You know, so it's kind of hard. You might think you're late to start it. You know, I don't have 10 houses over here I can sell off and go buy the commercial property. No, you don't.
Right.
But there's still ways of even just getting started.
Right.
And you don't have to start big.
I'm glad you said that, because that was one of the things that was on my mind. And here's what I wanted to say as a word of encouragement to those of you out there who thinking, I can't do this for either I'm coming late to the game, or I'm too old. Somebody out there might think I'm too young. In my opinion, there's no such thing as too young or too old for real estate investing, right? Logically speaking, if you ain't 18 and you can't really do certain things on your own, that may be, but I've seen 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Remember the one that we were just watching?
Listening to.
Owning their own businesses and investing in stuff. So no excuse. If you got it in your mind, you bring the right people to the table, you can get whatever you want done. And you're never too old. And this is why I say that. And it's because it's because what I've learned over the last 7 years or so that we've been working with these clients is that number one, our main client was 83 years old, and he was the GOAT, right? And he was getting up excited about real estate as if he was 20 every day. I mean, one time he came to Atlanta from California. That's when we first met him. He came and showed up at the house and was like, "Come on, Robert, let's go." I mean, that man wore me out. He was in his 70s, late 70s back then. Yeah. I'm telling you, when you run around with somebody who that is their thing, you ain't gonna be able to keep up. So no such thing as being too old. Here's the other reason why I say that is because of leverage, right? Yeah. So you don't need $100,000 to buy a $100,000 investment property. Right. All you need is the down payment to get started, right? What if you don't have the down payment? You can raise the down payment. You can get other investors. You can get other partners to go in with you. There are so many ways to solve that problem, right? There are loans out right now called DSCR, debt service coverage, debt service coverage ratio. They don't care about your credit score. They don't care about your income, because most of the time when the person thinks I'm too old, it's probably because they're no longer working and not able to show the income. They don't care about your income. The only thing they care about for this particular type of loan is how much income is the property bringing in. If the property is bringing in enough income to cover the debt, that's why they call it a debt service coverage ratio. If the property's income covers the debt service, then they will lend you the money on the house. So all you have to do is find the house, right? Yeah. That's your job. But now here's what we do. We sit at home and wait for the house to find us.
No such thing.
That's where, now I'm about to go back biblical on you. So the Bible says, ask, and it shall be given unto you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door shall be opened unto you. ASK, ask, seek, knock. That's your job. That's what you have to bring to the table, right? So you may not have money, you may not even have a job, but if you can ask, then you shall receive. If you can seek, then you shall find. If you are willing to get up and knock on somebody's door and say, are you willing to take an offer on this house? Then the door should be open unto you, right? Why? Okay, I'm about to go a little deeper than I really wanted just to prove this point. Some of you may or may not have heard of this concept called wholesaling. I did have to make sure I enunciated my words.
Thank you very much.
Because somebody might have thought they heard me say wholesaling. We're talking about wholesaling. Wholesaling. Here's the concept, ladies and gentlemen. Write this down if you haven't heard of it. This is how you can raise capital when you don't have capital, when you have very little to work with. You have to ask, which means ask, seek, knock. You got to get up out of your chair, out of your bed, out of your house, and go find distressed situations. Find people who are going through distressed situations. Notice I said I didn't say go find a house. You have to find the people who are going through distressed situations. What kind of situations? Death, right? That's probate. Somebody in the family done died and the heirs don't want to have nothing to do with their property. They live in a whole nother state. They don't have time to manage it. It means nothing to them. And all of a sudden here you come saying, listen, I understand you inherited this property and I see you live 1,000 miles away and the house is falling down. Let me take it off your hands. And now you go into this conversation with the intention to buy this property at a great price because you're taking it off their hands. They like, take it. I don't care what you give me. A lot of people do that. I don't care what you do. I don't want nothing about it. Just get it off my plate. Now you get it under contract with that person low enough. Now you don't have the money to buy it. Remember, you don't have no job. You don't have nothing. You may not have the money to buy that house, but you negotiate such a great deal as if you were purchasing a house, that deal is attractive to another investor who does have the money to buy the house. And so then you take that contract, that piece of paper that you wrote up and agreed to with that person, you're going to sell the paper to the other investor. You ain't sold a house. You wrote it up on a piece of paper. I will buy this house from you for $10,000. And you turn that paper over to another investor and said, I'm going to sell you this piece of paper for $10,000. He's going to take that $10,000 piece of paper and go and buy the house that you got under contract for $10,000. Now, he just spent 20. He spent 20 for this piece of paper. He spent 10 for this piece of paper and 10 for the house. And the only reason he did that is because you found the house and he didn't. That's what we call wholesaling. No money came out of my pocket. The only thing that came out of my pocket was time and effort, knocking, asking, seeking. And so you do that enough times to raise capital. And you do it until the point where now you've got enough capital where you can then put your down payment down. So if you got $100,000 house that you want to buy and you did that same deal twice, you got $20,000 that you can use as down payment for your $100,000 house. So it removes the excuses. The only excuse you really have is your couch or your lazy boy chair, right? Am I saying something that I've never done before? Absolutely not. I started off doing that. In fact, that was my third and fourth real estate deal. My first two houses, I bought on the same day, again, with no money out of my pocket, no money down. I actually made $4,000 the day I bought the houses. And Michael Reynolds, he said, that's a great idea. That's the answer, man. That is the answer, man. Yeah. And so that is absolutely where I started asking, seeking, and knocking. And so it removes the excuse. Yes, you can get started. It don't matter how old you are. Don't nobody even care. Yeah. All they care is, will this deal make money? Period. And most of the people that you deal with in this business, that's what they value. Are you selling me a good deal? He doesn't care whether you're going to make $10,000 off of it. Mm-mm. He just cares that he can make whatever he want to make. Mm-hmm. And because you found a deal, he's willing to pay you for that piece of paper. Wholesaling. Anybody can do it. Your 14-year-old child can do it, and your 90-year-old grandma can do it. There's no age limit or requirement on that at all. All right, let's keep it moving because we only got 10 more minutes. So those are the reasons why I think real estate is a great investment. One last reason, again, just making sure that everybody understands there is biblical foundation. There is biblical foundation is that you have an opportunity to have a kingdom impact. What do I mean by that? Through real estate investing, you can support your ministries. You can do community housing. You can support other economic empowerment initiatives, right? You can't really do a lot of that with many other investments, right? So there's more. And here's the thing that I want to say that we never really say. When you go into real estate investing, you have to think that you have to know that you're not doing it just for you. Mm-hmm. You're not investing in real estate just for yourself, right? Because again, real estate investing is a long-term investing strategy, right? And it's so long-term, you should see your real estate investments last longer than you. Like, so when I die, I expect that my real estate investments should still be making money, right? And so then who becomes the beneficiary of that money? The Bible says your children and your children's children, it just said your children's children. Yeah, there's a big debate about that because it looked like we done skipped over some folks, right? Yeah. All right. Great. Let me see if I can hurry up. Okay, I ain't gonna get through all of this. We almost will, because we talked about different types of real estate. Mm-hmm. That's the next thing we wanted to talk about. Different types of real estate investing. And we're gonna go through this real quick. Rental properties, we already talked about that. I will say this. So I've done many types of investing. I haven't done them all, but I've done many types. I've done fix and flips. That means you buy a house, you fix it up, and you resell it. I've done wholesaling, as we just described. I've done rental properties. What I haven't done, I haven't built a new construction yet. I haven't done tax liens, which is a great, phenomenal investment strategy. Oh, I wish I could talk about that right now.
Yeah, we probably have to get in that one next
week. I'm going to give you a clue, a hint. This is, again, another reason why you're never too old or never too young. Tax lien investing. Mm-hmm. So different states have different rules and regulations. I'll talk about what happens in Georgia. In Georgia, if you buy a tax lien, a tax deed, I believe it's a tax deed state. And make a long story short, because don't get me caught up on the legalities and the technicalities. If the county is getting ready to foreclose on somebody's property because they didn't pay their taxes, you can go down to the county courthouse and pay that person's taxes. Mm-hmm. That person then has a year and a day to redeem those taxes, meaning they got to pay it up, right? But when they do, they got to pay what you paid plus 20%. right? And then if they go another year, it's 30%. It increases, right? So if they do pay you, you make your money plus 20%. I don't know many investments that are doing that, not even in the stock market, right? No bank account.
Yeah.
You make your money plus 20%. If they don't, then you get the house. So you will have gotten the house for the amount you pay for them taxes. So in other words, if somebody's taxes was $4,000-$5,000 and they just never redeemed them, after a year and a day, you can foreclose on that property, do a quiet title. Next thing you know, you own that property for what you put up for them taxes. You can't beat that, right? What you do with that property, you can rent it out, you can sell it, whatever you want to do with it, that's your property now, okay? Crazy. It don't get no better than that. So we talked about rental property, talked about fix and flips, commercial real estate. We haven't bought any, but we manage commercial. And we do know that is a phenomenal investment if you buy the right property in the right location at the right price with the right tenants. We just happen to manage one of those that checks off all of those boxes, which lets us know is when we get to that point, we want to buy something just like that, right? You can invest in land, and now there's more creative models, the tiny homes that we talked about last week, the micro homes, and my favorite that I'm starting to get into is the generational homes, right? So that's good. Common fears. Let's go real quick on common fears. Hey guys, I know I'm not going to be able to do this in 5 minutes, but I do want you to stick around for the last part. We're going to end with steps on how to get started. So I may go over 5 minutes. If you can, hang in there with me because it would be a waste of time for you not to get how you can get started, right? All right, so we're going to talk about the common fears. What are the fears?
I don't have enough money for a down payment. You touched on that.
I touched on that. Start doing some wholesaling. Start friends and family. Friends and family, you know.
Other investors.
And let me say this, y'all. When you go to your friends and family, don't just go asking for no money. You know, make sure there's a benefit in there for them, right? So if I go to my friends and family and I ask them to contribute to an investment that I'm about to make, you can best believe they're gonna make some money off of it, right? If I say I need $10,000, I'm gonna say, listen, let me get $10,000 at 10%, something like that. So don't just go asking for money with your hand out. Offer them something that's gonna make it worth their while. Let me hold $50,000 at 10%, which means that person now is making 10% on their money, and then and you make sure you pay it back, right? That's biblical right there. Yeah. They say, you know, you shouldn't borrow money and not pay it back. Anyway, you're gonna pay it back plus 10%, so it's worth their while. So now every friend and family who invests in you, you're also investing in them, right? Why is that so important? Because that may not be the last time you go to your friends and family. So it's important that you pay them back and that they're happy with what you've done, because then they're going to be looking for you to come back. Like, you need some more money? When you coming back for some more money? All right, keep going.
My credit isn't perfect.
Oh my goodness. Who needs credit to wholesale?
Right. You don't.
Ain't nobody looked at your credit at all. And that DSCR loan, they don't care about your credit either. They just want to know, does the deal make sense? Is the property making money? Is this a good asset or not? And that's what they care about. If you got a good asset that's making good cash flow, they will lend on the strength of that cash flow. Keep going.
It's too risky.
It is risky. It's absolutely risky. And so I'm not that dude that's going to tell you that it's a home run. Yeah. If you want that, go back to YouTube and let them tell you that. Every investment you make, whether it be in real estate, stock market, in a business or anything, it bears risk. You've got to be comfortable with the risk.
Yeah.
How do you become comfortable with the risk? You educate yourself, you research, you do your due diligence. You don't move too fast, right? You take your time, you plan, and you got to set your goal to know that this is the goal that I'm trying to reach. Is the risk and the reward balanced, right? Okay, so keep going. I could go more into that, but yes, there's risk in everything that we do. I've done some good deals and I've done some bad deals, right? There's always risk. Go ahead.
I don't know where to start.
Oh, this is where we're going to end. Steps to get started.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where we're going to end, and we might actually get through it by 8:30. But listen, I tell you what, because I'm feeling kind of rushed right now, we probably will do 102 next week. For those of y'all who are interested. If y'all interested in 102, where we go a little bit deeper after how you get started, put something in the chat right now and say, yeah.
Just type 102.
Yeah, 102.
Type 102.
If you've picked up something so far on how you can, what you can do, type 102, 102. All right, step one, get educated. I've already said that. What does the Bible say? My brethren, I will not have you be ignorant. That's Paul, right? Get educated. The Bible says in Habakkuk 2:2, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, right? Now, here's the thing that people don't really know is when God says that in that scripture, he's not even making an indictment against the people who are being destroyed. He's actually making an indictment against the priests, the preachers, the leaders of the community, because it's their responsibility to share the knowledge, to give them that knowledge. That's why we're here today, because I will not have that indictment on me. I'm sharing this knowledge with you so that you do not be destroyed, right? So I'm going to share everything I can about what I know about real estate investing, right? But you've got to take the initiative to educate yourself. Start learning everything you can. This is where I use the word baptize interchangeably, a more practical application of baptize. In our context, when we get baptized in the church, we get submerged underwater, not that sprinkling stuff, right? So the same is true when you're going into something like this. You need to totally immerse yourself in the education part of that thing. Like you need to dive all the way into it, right? Get baptized in that thing, right? So that you have enough knowledge to go out and make some wise choices. Again, that doesn't eliminate risk. It just means that you're making wise moves. All right. Step 2, check credit and finances. Know your starting point. All right. So somebody did say something about credit. That was one of your things. Yeah. Yeah. ChatGPT is good tool to use for education. But I'm gonna tell you something about ChatGPT. It will not get you prepared for this. It can give you some information, but that education, that's gonna come from people, relationships, people who have been doing it for years. The best education is to actually do it, making some mistakes. You're going to have to get out there and make some mistakes. That's the best education you're going to ever get. Yeah. But get around people who have already been doing it and who are doing it. You know what? I hate talking to people who talk about something that they've never done. And you get to them and like, well, where's your property? Oh, I ain't got none yet. Yeah. Man, stop talking to me. Okay, anyway. Yeah. Here's a little tip, Mike, answer man. You know, I've lived in Detroit, Michigan. I moved back to Cleveland. I moved here to Atlanta, Georgia. What I learned is in every city, every state, there is a real estate investment association. And what I would do, the moment I put my feet on ground in a new city, I go find that organization and I join it. And I start networking with the people in that organization. I'm a member of Georgia Real Estate Investment Association and have been since 2003, the moment I stepped foot on this thing. When I left Cleveland, I was a member of Greater Cleveland's Real Estate Investment Association. That's how you learn, because you're going to be learning from people who are doing it every day, real time. And at the same time, you're developing relationships. So you're meeting your potential lenders. You're meeting your potential buyers if you're wholesaling. You see what I'm saying? You're meeting potential sellers. Like if you're looking to buy something, the sellers are right there. Everybody you need. You're meeting your contractors. You're meeting your handyman. You're meeting your insurance agent. You're meeting your banker. You're meeting your tax guy. They all there. And you need all of these people as part of your team in order to make good investments. People think that this is a solo game. It's a team sport. You got to have a team. It takes all of these people for you to be successful in real estate. Oh, I got to do a one-on-two. I got to do a one-on-two because you all just made me start thinking about something. What's that, Bernini said? My question is it too broad? What was her question?
That's her question. Wait, go back up. Her question was, you went past it. Go right there.
This one?
Yeah. Can you do without a substantial amount of cash?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need, like going back to wholesaling, that's with zero cash, with 2 zeros. I was doing wholesales with no cash. I bought my first 2 rental properties with no cash. So in essence, I did my first 4 deals with no cash. In fact, none of the houses that I bought in Cleveland did I ever use any of my own cash. In fact, every deal that I did when I was in Cleveland, I got money back at the closing table. I walked in there with nothing and walked out with money. And I'm not talking about little money. I'm talking about tens of thousands of dollars with zero cash out of my pocket. Yes, you can do it. There was only one house that I ever put up money, and that was a fix and flip that I did on Prince. And that's when I learned that I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to calculate a fix and flip because on the surface, it looked good. We bought this little house, fixed it up. The house looked nice, sold it. And then once I really went back and calculated the cost, I didn't really make no money. It looked like I did. And to a lot of people who are watching you from the outside in, if they don't know numbers, they gonna think you making money, and you may not be making a dime. You might be losing money. They just see all this work going on. Yeah, but yeah, I digress. Bernita, when I first started, out of the first 5 deals that I did 4 of them with no money, absolutely no money out of my pocket at all. So yeah, you don't need a whole lot of cash. You just need to be able to think through where all the moving parts is and who needs what.
Come up with a strategy.
Yeah. All right. Number 3, network with professionals. So I already touched on that. Every time I go to a new city or a new state, I immediately seek out the real estate investment association in that town. I join it and I start going to the meetings and I start networking and meeting people, because you've got to build your network of professionals. Those are agents, lenders, mentors, other investors. Again, your contractors, your handyman, your tax people. You're building a team. You know what I'm saying? And you got to build relationships with them to where you can pick up the phone and call them, right? We've gotten so much advice from our old client because he's a tax professional. He was a tax professional. I say was because he has since passed on. He passed away a couple months ago. But I could pick the phone up and ask him any tax question. any tax question. I'm talking about he knew taxes inside and out, had been doing that for 40 plus years. Owned several tax offices in California, had thousands of clients. And for me to be and you ain't paying no less than $1,500, $2,000 for him to do your taxes. I could pick up the phone any day of the week and call him because of relationships. Real estate is a relationship-based game, period, in the story. So you got to develop that network. Watch this. Start small. This is the number 4. Start small. So yeah, I did that. I did single family rentals. I haven't done a. Yes, I did. I did a duplex. That was the one that had the sisters, Section 8 sisters up and down, and they started fighting. And I told their mama, if they don't pay it for that door and that window to get fixed, I'm gonna report it to Section 8, and they're gonna have to come back and live with the mama. And the mama started writing checks like, oh no, they ain't. But start small, single family rentals, duplexes, or house hacking. Now that's something I have not done, is house hacking. And this is for more so for younger people who are just getting started. That's a good place to start. So you might find yourself a duplex, like a side by side or something like that, and you buy it and rent out one side. You live in one side, rent out the other side, and rent it out to the point where that other side either pays for or almost pays for your expenses on that house. And you're kind of living rent free at that point, mortgage free, and the property is still increasing in value. And when you get to a point where your income will allow you to move out of the house, now you got 2 tenants paying rent, is paying for the property and still kicking off you cash and helping you get to your next destination. So that's what they call house hacking. Some people, that's all they do. They keep doing it, right? And keep doing it. And people have become very successful in laying their foundation house hacking. Some people have too much pride to house hack because they don't want to live next to nobody. I'm telling you, if you're young, especially if you're single, by all means, get out there and get started. Get a house and let somebody live next to you. Some people are doing it in their own house, renting out their basement, renting out another room in their house, renting out 2 rooms in their house. Watch this. That's house hacking. Get rid of the pride and you might get yourself a house. All right. Number 5, and we're going to leave it right here. Run the numbers. Ensure every deal makes sense on paper before moving forward. Again, I can't stress that enough. Until you actually know how to calculate what a real good deal looks like, you shouldn't get started. And that's where a lot of people have gone wrong. Like I said, I did that on my first fix and flip. I didn't lose money, but that $1 that I did make wasn't worth the headache. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I thought I was going to make more money than this. Well, yeah, after you finish paying for the realtor, after you finish paying the interest on that hard money loan, after your contractors, after the holding costs, which I didn't even consider, holding costs, which are the gas, the utilities, the lawn care, the everything that you have to continue to pay to keep that house running while it's being renovated and until it sells, it's called holding cost. And we didn't think about none of that stuff. By the time you finish doing all that and paying commissions and all that, you look at it, look like you were supposed to make $50,000 and you made $5. Right? Know your numbers. You got to learn how to calculate what a real good deal looks like, what a good real estate deal looks like. And that's the last thing that I'm going to leave y'all with right now.
And if you don't, then you get with somebody that does. Don't move from that question.
What's that?
So Mike, I don't know what this name is.
Answer man.
Mike.
The answer man got all the answers.
Okay. Well, you asked the question. So has the administration cuts affected Section 8? And I can tell you it has not yet.
They're working on it.
Yeah. But right now, because I have a couple of houses that have Section 8 tenants, and it has not affected in no way right now. So they're still paying the money. They're still, I sent in for rental increases. They're paying the increases. I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
So if it's coming, it's not here.
It's
So
not
you
here
have, you
today.
still have a chance. If you have a rental and you want to do Section 8, you still have a chance.
Bernita hit it. If it hasn't, it will with this administration. He's working on it.
Yeah.
He done already said it. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The orange.
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether he's successful at it or not, we don't know.
Right.
But again, remember when I first started this segment, I said things change, and that's why you got to stay abreast. You got to keep educating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is not one of those things that you can set it and forget it. Like the things that were in play 20, 30 years ago may not be in play today.
Mm-hmm.
Section 8 may not be in play tomorrow. So you can't continue to play the same. You can't just get the property, put it on Section 8, then sit back on the couch and never think about it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how real estate investing works, right?
Yeah.
When we come back next Tuesday, I'm gonna go a little deeper into a couple of things that we talked about, but remind me to go a little deeper into that, why you can't just set it and forget it, right? And the idea is that you want to create passive income. You don't want to be working. You don't want that to just be your next job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you still want to stay abreast of everything. You still have to manage your business, right? And you got to understand that it is a business, right? And so I'm going to go deeper into that because I'm going to start talking about the property management side. So as an investor, again, if you're older and you still want investment property, but you don't want the headache of managing those people and the tenants and the headaches and all of that stuff, and you get a good property manager, and that's how you solve that problem. But you may still have to manage your property manager, right, to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? So you're still going to be involved, but you don't have to get up and punch nobody's clock, right? Okay.
You're not into the day-to-day.
Yeah.
Can I say this? We're talking about investment, and we're talking about, specifically real estate investment. But this all boils down to one thing. You have to invest in yourself if you're going to invest.
Give me a high five on that one.
You have to invest in yourself if you're going to invest.
Exactly.
And what I mean by that, again, is that you have to, for one, know this is something I want to do. And once you establish that, then you take the necessary steps to get yourself educated, to get yourself in places where people, you can go and network and meet people and invest, other investors and real estate people and whatever it is. But the time is critical. You have to make sure you take the time to invest in yourself so you can become an investor.
That is so awesome. And again, that goes back to, when I said, if I move anywhere, the first place I'm going is to find that real estate investment association. It's going to cost you some money. That membership fee is going to cost you some money. But that's the first investment I'm going to make in myself. Right. Before I look at any house, any property, I'm going to find that organization. I'm going to make my investment. And they're going to have classes and seminars and workshops that you're going to go to and spend some money because you're investing in yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Amen and amen again. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize, but this thing is near and dear to me. You already knew it.
Yep.
I didn't even say we was gonna end on time today. I wasn't even gonna lie to myself. Anyway, I'm glad for those of y'all who stuck with us. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, we got a lot of people that stuck with us.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna do 102. 102 next week. Listen, y'all, I thank y'all for joining. I'm not going to hold y'all any longer. We look forward to getting with y'all next week. We look forward to seeing y'all next week when we take it one step further. In the meantime and in between time.
And we're not even going to talk about why this hat is on. I have no, listen, I come in the office, this is it. I have to just go with the flow here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we love you.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
Being the best.